If you don't fix your habits will shape a life you don't want. Let's be honest, most people aren't tired, they're just unmotivated. Most aren't lost, they're just distracted. And if you clicked on this, chances are you're tired of watching yourself waste time, watching days go by with nothing to show for it. This isn't some hype story or sugar-coated advice. This is for the version of you that knows you're capable of more but hasn't been showing up. It's time to face the truth. Success isn't for the lucky, it's for the consistent. This audiobook will help you stop lying to yourself, break the comfort loop, and finally build habits that mean something. If you're done talking about change and ready to live it, this is the reset your mind has been needing. Not someday, today, right now. Wake up, let's go. Chapter 1. Wake up and admit you want a better life. You know, the first step toward any kind of change begins when a person finally admits something to themselves. Not to the world, not to their family, not to their friends, but deep inside, in the quiet space of their own mind, they admit, I want a better life. That's the beginning of transformation. Everything before that is just talk. Most people never reach that point. They wake up each day and go through the motions. They complain, they hope, they wish, but they never stop to say, this isn't enough for me anymore. You can't improve something you refuse to acknowledge needs changing. So the truth is simple. Nothing starts until you do. You can listen to all the motivational talks in the world, read every book, and still stay exactly where you are if you don't get honest about what you really want. Waking up doesn't just mean getting out of bed, it means opening your eyes to your own life. It means looking at where you are and saying, this is not where I'm meant to stay. It's uncomfortable, yes. It hurts a little, but that's good. That discomfort is life's way of telling you that you're capable of more. You were not born to drift through your days half awake, half committed, and half alive. You were made to create, to build, to grow, to improve. Admitting you want a better life is not weakness, it's not greed, it's not dissatisfaction with what you have. It's honesty, it's courage. It's saying to yourself, I'm grateful for what I have, but I know I can become more. That's maturity, that's growth. And growth is the real purpose of life. You see, success isn't only about money or status. It's about the kind of person you become along the way. If you wake up every morning with no sense of purpose, if you're just surviving from one day to the next, you're not living, you're waiting. Waiting for something to change. Waiting for luck, waiting for someone to notice you, waiting for a break. But that's not how success works. Life doesn't hand transformation to those who wait. It rewards those who decide. When you decide you want a better life, the waiting ends and the working begins. Now, admitting that you want more can stir up guilt. People might tell you, you should be happy with what you have, and they're right to a point. Gratitude is powerful. But gratitude and growth are not enemies. You can be thankful and still hungry. You can appreciate what you have and still work for better. Wanting a better life doesn't mean you're ungrateful, it means you're alive. It means your spirit hasn't given up. There comes a moment, and maybe it's today, when you look around and realize that your routines are keeping you small. You've built habits that protect your comfort, not your potential. You wake up tired, not because your body needs rest, but because your mind is bored. You avoid challenges because you're afraid to fail. You settle for good enough when you know you were made for greatness. And somewhere inside, a quiet voice says, wake up, you can do more than this. That's the voice you need to listen to. The truth is, no one can want your success more than you. No one can give you ambition. You can inspire someone, encourage them, teach them, but you can't install desire. That's an inside job. You've got to reach a point where you say, enough, enough, wasting time, enough blaming others, enough hiding behind excuses. That's when life starts to open up for you. When I was young, I used to think successful people were lucky. They had opportunities, connections, or timing that I didn't. But I learned that luck follows those who take responsibility. The moment I said, I want a better life, and it's on me to build it, things began to change. The world didn't change, I did. My energy changed, my focus sharpened, my habits evolved. And that's what waking up really means. It's taking ownership of your story. You can't rewrite your past, but you can design your future. That starts with admitting you're not satisfied. Some people think that kind of honesty is painful, but it's actually freeing. Because once you say it out loud, once you say, I want better, you give yourself permission to grow. You stop pretending. You stop explaining your laziness as tiredness. You stop calling your fear bad timing. You see your excuses for what they are, a shield keeping you from progress. Most people spend their lives defending their limitations. They'll tell you all the reasons they can't change. I'm too old. I don't have the time. I've tried before. But you have to stop defending the very things that hold you back. The day you say, I'm done protecting my excuses, is the day you start protecting your potential. When you wake up and admit you want more, you also have to face a tough truth: you've been wasting time. That's not easy to swallow. It stings. But it's necessary. Because once you admit that, you can choose differently. Every hour from now on can be invested instead of wasted. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a decision. One real, firm decision to no longer accept mediocrity as your standard. Take a good look at your life today. The way you spend your mornings, the way you talk to yourself, the way you show up for your goals. Ask yourself, if I keep living this way for the next 5 years, will I be proud of myself? If the answer is no, that's your wake-up call. And that's not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Because you just found your truth, and truth is the foundation of all progress. Once you've admitted you want a better life, you'll notice something interesting. You'll stop blaming your past. You'll stop waiting for motivation. You'll stop needing validation. You'll simply start. You'll begin by making your bed with purpose. You'll show up to work with focus. You'll read, you'll learn, you'll move. Small actions, repeated daily, create unstoppable momentum. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop lying to yourself. Stop saying, I'm fine. Because fine is not what you came here to be. You came here to grow, to evolve, to lead. And that starts the moment you wake up to your own potential. There's a moment in everyone's life when they look back and see how much time they've lost and they decide never again. That moment changes everything. You begin to treat time as the most valuable thing you have. You start to respect your effort. You begin to expect more from yourself, not because the world demands it, but because you do. This is what unstoppable success is built on. Not secrets, not shortcuts, just honesty, responsibility, and relentless action. Wake up and admit you want better, and then do something about it every single day. You will fail, you will doubt, you will get tired, but you will also rise. You will build confidence by keeping promises to yourself. You will earn respect by showing consistency. You will find peace, not from avoiding work, but from giving your all. Every day is a new chance to wake up in more ways than one. Open your eyes, not just to the world around you, but to the person inside of you who's capable of more. Don't settle for the version of yourself that takes the easy route. Stand up, take charge, and say it clearly. I want a better life, and I'm ready to earn it. That's the day everything begins to change. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the secret to unstoppable success is not found in books or videos. It's found in the moment you finally wake up and decide your life is worth the effort. That's when laziness dies and purpose takes its place. And when purpose takes over, nothing can stop you. Chapter 2. Stop lying to yourself about your effort level. The hardest thing for most people to do is to be honest with themselves, not about what they want, but about what they're actually doing to get there. Every person says they want success, a better life, more freedom, more confidence, more money. But very few are willing to face the truth about the gap between their words and their actions. That gap is where frustration lives. That's where disappointment grows. It's not that life is unfair, it's that too many people are lying to themselves about their effort level. You can't fix what you won't face. You can't grow if you keep pretending you're doing your best when deep down you know you're not. Every time you say, "I tried," when you barely showed up, you weaken your own belief in yourself. The problem isn't lack of opportunity, it's lack of honesty. You tell yourself you're working hard, but are you? Or are you just doing enough to feel busy? Effort means energy, focus, sacrifice, consistency. It's not about being tired, it's about being intentional. Most people confuse activity with progress. They're constantly doing something, but not doing the right things. They'll scroll through motivational videos, highlight quotes, talk about goals, but never put in the real work when it's inconvenient. They want the result, not the responsibility. The truth is, real effort is uncomfortable. It pushes you, it drains you, it demands you to give when no one's watching. That's why it's rare. Because it's easier to say, "I'm doing enough," than to admit, "I'm holding back." You see, success doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to what you consistently do. The difference between winners and talkers isn't talent, it's truth. Winners know exactly where they stand. They don't sugarcoat their weaknesses. They don't make excuses about time, energy, or luck. They measure their actions, not their intentions. If they fall short, they don't justify it, they adjust it. That's what growth looks like. If you want to turn your life around, you must stop lying to yourself about your effort level. Look at your days. Look at how you spend your hours. Are you giving your best or just enough to feel like you tried? If your dream requires 5 hours of focused work and you're giving 1 hour while distracted, don't blame the world when nothing changes. Success has a price, and pretending to pay it doesn't buy you the reward. The lie feels safe because it protects your ego. It keeps you comfortable. It tells you you're doing fine when you're not. It whispers you're working hard when you're playing it safe. That lie keeps you stuck because it removes urgency. When you believe you're already giving your all, you stop pushing, you stop improving. You convince yourself that effort doesn't work, when in reality, your effort doesn't match your goals. If you could record yourself for a week, every action, every choice, every wasted minute, you'd see the truth clearly. You'd see the scrolling, the distractions, the excuses, the half-hearted attempts, and you'd see why results haven't shown up yet. Because effort isn't about showing up sometimes, it's about showing up fully, every day. It's about doing what's necessary, not what's convenient. Being honest with yourself doesn't mean tearing yourself down. It means taking responsibility. It's saying, "I know I can do more, and I'm ready to prove it." That kind of honesty stings at first because it exposes where you've been lazy, careless, or inconsistent. But that sting is also the start of power, because once you admit it, you can change it. You can't correct what you deny. When you stop lying to yourself, you start respecting yourself. You begin to trust your own word again. You stop saying you'll do things and not doing them. You stop promising yourself goals you don't pursue. That's when discipline starts to grow, not from pressure, but from pride. The kind of pride that comes from keeping your word. That's how you rebuild self-respect. Think about the last time you said you were working hard. Did you really push your limits, or did you stop when it got uncomfortable? Did you stay focused, or did you let small distractions win? Did you sacrifice time for your goals, or did you trade it for temporary comfort? Honest answers will change your life faster than any motivational talk ever could. The truth is, people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they overestimate their effort. They think showing up is enough. But showing up is just the beginning. Effort means doing the work even when it's boring. It means practicing when no one claps. It means staying up late to finish what you said you would. It means not settling for average. That's effort. When you start being real with yourself, you'll also notice how much time you've been wasting. You'll see hours that could have built your dream traded for meaningless comfort. You'll see moments when you could have learned, trained, built, or improved, but you didn't. That realization might hurt, but it will also wake you up. Because from that moment forward, you'll see time differently. Every hour will start to matter. Self-honesty is the mirror of success. Every successful person has looked at themselves and said, "I'm not doing enough." Not out of guilt, but out of awareness. That awareness creates urgency. It pushes you to raise your standards. You stop competing with others and start competing with your potential. That's when your days become sharper, your work becomes focused, and your results start catching up with your dreams. You can't grow from a fake version of yourself. You can't improve a lie. If you keep telling yourself you're doing your best when you know you're not, you'll never have the hunger to change. Be brave enough to see the truth. Because truth isn't the enemy, it's the beginning of freedom. Start by tracking your effort honestly. Write down what you actually do each day toward your goals. Don't edit it. Don't justify it. Just look at it. You'll notice patterns: time wasted, promises broken, priorities misplaced. That's your real feedback. That's the information you need to grow. When you stop pretending, you start improving. Remember, effort is not measured by time, it's measured by focus. You can spend 10 hours distracted and get nothing done, or one focused hour and make real progress. Stop counting the hours you worked. Start measuring the quality of your effort. Ask yourself, did I give full focus? Did I do what truly moves me forward? That's what matters. When you take your effort seriously, life starts to respond differently. Opportunities show up because you're ready for them. People notice because you stand out. Confidence grows because it's built on proof. You don't need to convince anyone you'll have evidence in your results. That's the reward of honesty. The person you are today is the result of your past effort. The person you'll be in a year will depend on what you do from this moment on. If you don't like where you are, increase your effort. Not your words, not your plans, your effort. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The only difference between your current reality and your ideal future is how much consistent effort you're willing to give. Stop lying to yourself that you're tired when you're just unmotivated. Stop saying you're doing your best when you know you're distracted. Stop telling yourself you don't have time when you spend hours on things that don't matter. The truth might hurt, but it's also the key to your next level. Because the moment you face it, you take control again. There's a version of you waiting to come alive, the version that gives everything, holds nothing back, and works like their life depends on it. That version is built on honesty, not the kind that looks good to others, but the kind that looks yourself in the mirror and says, "You're capable of more," and you know it. That's when things change. That's when progress begins. Because when you stop lying to yourself about your effort, you finally start living at your true potential. And once you taste that level of honesty and discipline, you'll never settle for less again. Chapter 3. Stand up when your comfort zone holds you back. There comes a time in everyone's life when staying where you are starts to hurt more than the effort it takes to grow. You feel it in your chest, in your routine, in that quiet sense of restlessness that whispers every night. You know you can do more, but you've built a life that keeps you safe instead of alive. The comfort zone is tricky. It feels calm, familiar, and harmless, but it quietly steals your potential one easy day at a time. Standing up when your comfort zone holds you back means refusing to live small just because small feels safe. Comfort isn't always peace. Sometimes it's a cage. You build it one excuse at a time. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, that now isn't the right time, that you're not ready yet. Days turn into months, and suddenly you've learned how to stay still without even realizing it. The danger isn't that you can't move forward, it's that you stop believing you should. The comfort zone trains you to settle. It convinces you that average is acceptable, that growth is optional, that change is risky. But here's the truth, staying comfortable will cost you everything that could make your life extraordinary. Standing up means breaking the pattern. It's that moment when you stop defending your comfort and start demanding progress. You might lose the calm for a while, but you'll gain your strength back. Growth doesn't happen in routine. It happens in resistance. Every time you challenge yourself, you remind your mind who's in charge. That's what personal power really is. The decision to move forward even when it feels uncertain. The comfort zone feeds on fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. It makes you believe that comfort equals happiness, but deep down you know it doesn't. It's a slow kind of suffering, where you smile through dissatisfaction and pretend you're fine while knowing something is missing. That missing piece is progress. Human beings are wired to grow. When you stop stretching yourself, your spirit starts shrinking. You lose your drive, your confidence, your curiosity. You stop feeling proud because you stop doing anything that challenges you. You might tell yourself you're staying comfortable because you're being cautious, but that's rarely true. Most of the time, you're protecting yourself from discomfort, not danger. Growth feels unsafe because it demands you to leave the predictable and walk into the unknown. It's not your circumstances that hold you back, it's your attachment to the familiar. You keep doing what you know, even if it's making you miserable, because it feels easier than starting over. Standing up when your comfort zone holds you back means taking action before you feel ready. It means saying yes to challenges that scare you, opportunities that stretch you, and goals that seem too big. You'll never feel fully prepared. Confidence comes after movement, not before it. Every person you admire once stood where you are now, scared, uncertain, but tired of staying the same. They didn't wait for courage. They stood up and created it through action. If you stay inside your comfort zone too long, it starts to feel like the limit of your ability. You start believing that this is who you are. You stop dreaming. You stop trying. You begin protecting your limitations instead of breaking them. That's the danger. When comfort becomes identity, you stop saying I could and start saying I can't. The truth is, you can. You always could. You just stopped giving yourself a chance to find out. You grow every time you step into discomfort with purpose. The first time you speak up when you usually stay silent, you grow. The first time you work on a goal instead of wasting another evening, you grow. The first time you say no to something that keeps you stagnant, you grow. Growth isn't measured by big leaps. It's measured by small acts of courage, repeated daily. Each act chips away at fear, until fear loses its power. The comfort zone doesn't vanish when you stand up. It follows you. It will keep trying to pull you back. You'll hear its voice saying,
this is too hard or it's not worth it. That's when you know you're moving in the right direction. Because comfort never argues when you're standing still. It only fights when you're growing. The resistance you feel is not a signal to stop, it's proof that change is happening. When you finally stand up, the world looks different. You see new possibilities. You start meeting people who think bigger, move faster, dream bold. You realize that discomfort isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's shaping you into someone who can handle more. The stronger you get, the more your life expands. But it all begins with one decision: to stop sitting down in the space where you've already outgrown yourself. Ask yourself this: what has comfort cost you so far? Maybe it cost you opportunities you didn't take. Maybe it cost you relationships that could have changed your path. Maybe it cost you years of progress, because you kept choosing what was easy instead of what was right. The cost of comfort is invisible at first, but it becomes obvious later. You wake up one day and realize life didn't get smaller. You did. The good news is that it's never too late to stand up. You can decide right now that your comfort zone doesn't get to control your future. You can start small. Do something today that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Have that conversation you've been avoiding. Take that class you've been delaying. Apply for that opportunity you've been doubting. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. It's to move forward in spite of it. Each small act builds your confidence. Confidence is built from evidence, and the only way to collect evidence is through action. The comfort zone has one mission: to keep you predictable. But predictable isn't powerful. Predictable doesn't grow. You don't get remembered for being predictable. You get remembered for being bold enough to do what others wouldn't. The world doesn't reward safety. It rewards effort, risk, and persistence. You have to start trusting yourself to handle what's uncomfortable. You've survived everything you've gone through so far. Why doubt yourself now? The fear you feel before doing something new is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're about to grow. You're supposed to feel nervous before something meaningful. If you don't, it means you're not stretching far enough. Standing up isn't a one-time act. It's a habit. Every time you choose growth over ease, you're teaching your mind a new pattern. You stop avoiding challenges and start seeking them. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I succeed?" You stop living in defense mode and start creating the life you want. That shift changes everything. The comfort zone may feel safe, but it's also where dreams die quietly. You can't create something extraordinary while staying ordinary. The person you're meant to be is waiting on the other side of fear. That person doesn't care how comfortable you are. They care about how committed you are. Commitment is what gets you up when comfort tells you to stay down. There's a powerful moment that happens after you stand up. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's the quiet realization that you're capable of more than you thought. That realization builds a kind of confidence no words can describe. You start seeing yourself as someone who can adapt, learn, and handle life head-on. You stop needing easy. You start craving meaningful. You don't need to destroy your comfort zone overnight. You just need to keep stepping outside of it. The more you do, the bigger your world becomes. The bigger your world becomes, the smaller your fears get. Growth is a loop. Discomfort leads to courage. Courage leads to confidence. And confidence leads to freedom. Freedom to live, to build, to create, to be. Every person who ever achieved something great stood up when their comfort zone told them to sit down. You can do the same. The first step is awareness. The second is action. The third is consistency. Keep standing up. Keep moving. Keep growing. One day you'll look back and realize that your old comfort zone isn't even visible anymore. It's miles behind you, exactly where it should be.
Chapter 4. Do the work even when no one notices.
Doing the work when no one notices is the real test of character. It's easy to stay committed when the spotlight is on, when people praise you, when the results show. But real growth happens in the quiet hours, when there's no applause, no recognition, and no one cheering you on. That's where discipline is built. That's where greatness begins, because the truth is, most of your progress will happen behind the scenes, when nobody's watching, nobody caring, and nobody giving you credit. That's where you find out who you really are. Everyone wants the reward, but not everyone is willing to do the unseen work that earns it. It's not the big moments that define your success. It's the small, consistent actions you repeat when no one else is paying attention. Those early mornings, those late nights, those hours when your friends are relaxing and you're still working, those are the moments that shape you. They don't make headlines, but they build habits. They don't bring attention, but they build mastery. Working without recognition requires maturity. It means you've stopped doing things to impress and started doing them to improve. You've learned that validation is temporary, but self-respect lasts. The day you stop needing people to notice your grind is the day your results start speaking for you. Most people never reach that stage because they depend on approval to stay motivated. But when your motivation comes from within, no one can take it away from you. Doing the work in silence teaches patience. It reminds you that progress takes time. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. You water it, care for it, and trust that your effort will pay off eventually. The same rule applies to success. The progress you don't see is still happening. The effort you make today will compound tomorrow. You have to trust that even though no one sees your effort, it's shaping something powerful within you. The truth is, most of your effort won't be visible. People will only see the end result and call it talent or luck. They'll never see the lonely hours, the self-doubt, the repetition, the countless failures. But that's okay. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it because you promised yourself you'd build something great, and you're not going to break that promise. That kind of self-accountability separates those who dream from those who achieve. Sometimes, silence is the best environment for growth. When nobody's around to validate you, you have no choice but to validate yourself. You learn to celebrate small wins, to notice your own effort, to stay disciplined without the audience. That's strength. Because if your work only matters when people clap, you'll quit the moment they stop. True strength is doing what's right, even when it goes unnoticed. There will be days when it feels like nothing you're doing matters. You'll wonder why you're putting in so much effort when no one seems to care. Those are the days that separate the committed from the casual. The casual stop because they can't see results right away. The committed continue because they know every hour of effort adds up. Every time you push through that doubt, you're training your mind to stay loyal to your goals, not your emotion. You can't build real success by seeking constant recognition. The people who reach greatness work when everyone else has stopped watching. They don't talk about it. They do it. They don't post every step. They live. They've learned that real satisfaction comes from the quiet knowing that you gave everything, even when no one saw it. Because the real reward isn't public praise, it's private growth. You have to remind yourself that your work is not wasted just because it's unseen. Every repetition is teaching your body discipline. Every small effort is strengthening your mind. Every hour spent improving when no one's watching is building a future that everyone will eventually notice. But you can't skip that invisible phase. You can't fast forward through the grind. The unseen work is the foundation that makes the visible results possible. You might not get credit today. You might not get encouragement tomorrow. But the consistency you practice will become your reputation. People might not see what you're doing now, but one day they'll see what it created. And when that day comes, it'll make sense why you stayed committed when it looked pointless. The work you do in silence is never wasted. It's stored, not lost. When you start valuing effort over attention, everything changes. You stop chasing quick recognition and start building long-term impact. You realize that the person you become while working matters more than the results themselves. You start working for progress, not praise. And that shift makes you unstoppable because no one can control your drive but you. Every successful person has gone through a period where no one cared about what they were doing. They worked quietly, improved daily, and trusted the process. They didn't get validation, but they got better. They didn't get noticed, but they got stronger. And one day, their consistency made them undeniable. That's how success works. It stays silent before it becomes loud. Working when no one notices also builds humility. It teaches you that greatness isn't about showing off, it's about showing up every single day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it feels like no one's watching. Because someone is watching, your future self, the person you'll become, is shaped by what you do in those unseen hours. If you only work when people are watching, your growth will always depend on others. But if you work when no one's around, you become self-sufficient. You start to enjoy the grind. You stop needing to prove yourself and start living in alignment with your goal. That's when your confidence grows naturally. Not from compliments, but from consistency. There's a calm kind of pride that comes from doing the work quietly. It's not loud or showy. It's the satisfaction of knowing that you're becoming better while others are standing still. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to defend it. You just keep building. And when the results finally appear, they'll speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. Doing the work when no one notices means falling in love with progress itself. It means caring more about who you're becoming than who's watching. It means showing up with the same energy on the hard days as you do on the exciting ones. That level of discipline builds a kind of momentum that can't be faked or rushed. You have to remember that silence doesn't mean failure. Just because no one's clapping doesn't mean you're not winning. Growth doesn't need an audience, it needs commitment. You don't need to announce every step, you just need to keep taking them. The people who talk the least about their grind are usually the ones doing the most. Every time you work quietly, you're training your mind to focus on the process. You stop comparing, you stop complaining, and you start creating. You develop patience, resilience, and grit, and eventually, all that quiet work builds something loud, results that can't be ignored. So keep going when it feels unnoticed. Keep showing up when it feels unseen. Keep working when no one cares, because that's the moment most people give up, and that's the moment that defines you. Success is built in silence and revealed in time. When the world finally sees what you've built, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was every silent hour you refused to waste.
Chapter 5. Fix your daily choices before they fix you. Every choice you make builds your life piece by piece, even the small ones that seem harmless. The truth most people ignore is that their daily decisions are quietly shaping their future. You can't escape the effects of what you repeatedly do. Every morning you decide whether to grow or decline, to progress or to stand still. It's not a single decision that ruins a life, it's the repeated small choices made without awareness. If you don't take control of them, they start to take control of you. That's what it means when we say, fix your daily choices before they fix you. Your life is the result of patterns, not events. Success doesn't happen by accident, and failure doesn't happen overnight. They both grow out of routine. The food you eat, the words you speak, the thoughts you feed, the hours you waste, all of it adds up. Each day seems insignificant on its own, but over time, it creates momentum in one direction or another. The scary part is that most people don't notice this until the damage is done. They wake up one day wondering why they feel stuck, but the truth is, their habits fixed them long before they realized it. Every day gives you the same opportunity to make choices that serve your growth or ones that steal it.
You can decide to wake up earlier or keep hitting snooze. You can choose to move your body or stay still. You can read something that stretches your mind or scroll through endless noise. You can speak with kindness or complain about what's wrong. None of these choices feel life-changing at the moment, but they all build direction. Over time, they shape your character, your mindset, your health, your relationships, your entire path. The problem is that bad choices don't always feel bad immediately. Skipping one workout feels fine. Spending an hour on distractions feels harmless. Procrastinating today feels like no big deal. But these choices are like quiet roots. They grow underneath until they become strong enough to control you. That's when your daily habits stop being choices and start being chains. You don't decide anymore. Your patterns decide for you. That's why awareness is everything. You have to catch your habits before they catch you. You fix your daily choices by paying attention to them. Start noticing what you do automatically. Notice what you say yes to and what you avoid. Notice how you use your mornings and your nights. Change doesn't require huge decisions. It requires honest observation. The question you must ask yourself every day is simple: is this helping me or holding me back? If it's not helping, it's slowly fixing you into a version of yourself you won't like later. One of the greatest mistakes people make is thinking they can build a great life on weak daily choices. You can't outsmart your habits. You can't keep choosing what's easy and expect something extraordinary. Your choices reflect your priority. If you constantly choose comfort, don't expect growth. If you constantly choose distraction, don't expect clarity. If you constantly choose delay, don't expect progress. Life always gives back what you give it. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start making decisions that align with who you want to become. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you're rewriting your story. Every time you take responsibility for your actions, you regain control. You start building momentum in the right direction, and the best part, change doesn't need to be dramatic to be effective. Even a 1% better choice made daily compounds into a life you can be proud of. You can tell a lot about a person's future by looking at their routine. If someone wastes every morning, complains about every challenge, avoids every responsibility, and calls it just how they are, they're not living, they're drifting. Their habits are in control. But someone who values time, keeps promises to themselves, and treats small decisions with care is setting themselves up for long-term success. Because discipline is not about strictness, it's about direction. It's knowing that every choice counts. Your choices affect more than your goals, they affect your mindset. When you constantly choose the easy path, your mind becomes weaker. You stop believing in your ability to handle pressure. You lose confidence, because deep down you know you're betraying your potential. But when you start choosing the harder path on purpose, even in small ways, you start building strength. You earn self-respect through consistent action. You start to feel proud of yourself again. That pride becomes fuel. The truth is, nobody destroys their life on purpose. They just don't pay attention. They make one lazy decision after another, until those decisions pile up into regret. It's not that people don't want better, they just don't notice how they're slowly building worse. You must stop seeing choices as separate moments, and start seeing them as connected threads. Each choice pulls your life one way or the other. You're either becoming sharper or duller, stronger or softer, wiser or weaker. There's no middle ground. Fixing your daily choices also means fixing your standards. Stop accepting things that drain your focus and lower your energy. Stop saying yes to people or habits that pull you away from your purpose. Start designing your days around what truly matters. Small structure creates big freedom. A few disciplined habits can rebuild your entire mindset. When you start choosing better consistently, your mind starts trusting you again. You can't control everything, but you can control your choices. You decide how you respond to stress. You decide what you consume, what you believe, and what you prioritize. The world can throw challenges your way, but how you handle them comes down to what you've been practicing daily. If you've built strong habits, you'll rise. If you've built weak ones, you'll crumble. That's why fixing your choices is urgent. It's your protection against the chaos of life. You might think your choices don't matter because you're still young, or because you'll get serious later. But time doesn't wait. Every day you delay growth, you train yourself to delay again tomorrow. Habits don't change when life gets easier. They change when you decide to change them. The longer you postpone discipline, the harder it becomes to reclaim it. You fix your daily choices by creating clarity. Know exactly what kind of person you want to be, then match your behavior to that vision. If you want to be confident, stop doing things that make you feel weak. If you want to be successful, stop wasting time on things that add no value. If you want peace, stop choosing chaos. Every result has a root, and that root is your daily decision-making. The most dangerous phrase you can tell yourself is just this once. Every bad habit starts there. Just this once becomes again, and again becomes normal. Before you know it, that tiny choice becomes your lifestyle. The same rule works the other way. One good choice today becomes easier tomorrow. Good habits repeat themselves once they start. The challenge is starting before comfort convinces you not to. When you fix your choices, life begins to reward you differently. You feel clearer, calmer, more in control. Your self-respect grows, because you know you're not betraying your potential anymore. You stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. And once you get a taste of that control, you never want to go back, because nothing feels better than knowing your life is moving in the right direction because of decisions you made consciously. The truth is simple. Your future isn't waiting for one big change. It's waiting for 100 small deliberate ones. Fix your daily choices while you still have the power to choose. Because if you don't, those same choices will fix you into a version of yourself you never wanted to be. Every morning gives you a chance to choose differently. Don't waste, because your habits will either build you or bury you, and only you get to decide which it will be.
Chapter 6. Get serious about what you keep putting off. There are things in your life you keep saying you'll get to one day. The project you've imagined, the change you've promised yourself, the conversation you've avoided, the goal you've written down but never started. You carry them quietly, and every time you think of them, you feel a small wave of guilt. You tell yourself it's not the right time, that you'll do it later, that you just need to feel ready. But the truth is, later never comes. You've been saying later for years, and that word has become a hiding place. Getting serious about what you keep putting off means deciding that waiting has cost you enough. There's a heavy price for procrastination that no one sees at first. It doesn't destroy your life overnight. It eats at your potential little by little. It makes you tolerate half effort. It turns your goals into background noise, and it builds a quiet kind of regret that follows you everywhere. The problem isn't that you don't have time, it's that you keep choosing comfort over completion. You keep convincing yourself that small delays are harmless, but every delay builds distance between who you are and who you could be. If you were honest with yourself, you'd see that what you're putting off isn't impossible, it's uncomfortable. It forces you to face fear, to risk failure, to show effort without guarantees. So you avoid it. You tell yourself you're preparing. You tell yourself you'll start when you have more clarity.
But deep down, you know you're stalling. You've turned preparation into an excuse. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You need to get serious. There's something freeing about admitting that you've been lazy with your goals. It's not weakness. It's awareness. Once you say, "I've been avoiding this," you take back control, because you can't change what you keep denying. Most people live in denial for years, calling their hesitation patience and their fear planning. They protect their comfort instead of their potential. But nothing changes until you say, "Enough." That one word has power. It breaks the illusion that you have unlimited time. You can't build a meaningful life by pushing everything important to tomorrow. You have to start now, not when you feel ready. Because readiness is a lie your mind tells you to avoid discomfort. The truth is, you get ready by starting, not by waiting. Action builds confidence. Movement builds clarity. Each time you take a step, even a small one, your fear gets smaller and your belief grows stronger. The people who succeed aren't the ones who waited for perfect timing. They're the ones who acted while they were unsure. You know exactly what you've been putting off. You don't need someone to tell you. It's the thing that keeps showing up in your thoughts when you have a quiet moment. It's the unfinished task that keeps you awake at night. It's the area of your